From WHDH TV, Boston, News 7 at noon.
The storm that socked the Bay State coastline is finally over. At issue now, who will clean up and who will pay? A teenager with an odd story is in custody this noon. The bomb in his father's Roslindale driveway killed a police officer this week. But our top story this noon, Martin Gaffney, the Marine who fought the government over AIDS and won, has lost the battle for his life. Good afternoon, everyone. Topping News 7, the death of Martin Gaffney just weeks after learning the U.S. government wouldn't appeal a multi-million-dollar award.
42-year-old Gaffney, a former U.S. Marine, died of AIDS complications at Mass General Hospital this morning. News 7's Rehema Ellis is here with more on the story. Rehema?
Edye, it was just last month, as you say, Marty Gaffney was excited that he had finally won his battle against the government. And for Marty, it really was a dying man's last wish come true. It was early in October. 42-year-old Martin Gaffney, a Marine stationed at South Weymouth, smiled for the first time in weeks when he got the news at Mass General Hospital, where he was recovering from chemotherapy for AIDS-related lymphoma.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate everything that was done on my behalf by people I don't even know.
Early today, Thomas Shea Jr. was arrested by Boston police, apparently on charges unrelated to an earlier incident where he allegedly called in a bomb threat. News 7's Garry Armstrong is live from Quincy District Court to help us sort through all of these latest developments. Garry, what can you add?
Lester, we should emphasize at the outset, again, what you just said, that the charges we're talking about today have nothing to do. They're totally unrelated to the bombing Monday in Roslindale. Now, Tom Shea Jr. may be spending the next week or so at the Dedham House of Corrections following this morning's hearing for violation of probation.
Operation Rescue organizers say they have no plans to call off illegal protests planned for area abortion clinics tomorrow, despite the pleas of the Boston Police Union to do exactly that, so that officers can attend Officer Hurley's funeral. The anti-abortion protest group says they will target Brookline and Boston clinics tomorrow. That's an illegal move, defying a permanent injunction prohibiting such demonstrations. As in previous instances, police officers say they will be out in force for crowd control. Pro-choice advocates are also planning a demonstration tomorrow. The National Organization for Women says they'll have hundreds of advocates ready to fight for their cause.
Still ahead on News 7 at noon, drive-by shootings are becoming more and more common. Governor Weld wants to stiffen the penalties.
And Todd Gross will join us with the weather forecast. Also in Madrid, is peace in the Middle East too much to ask? The first week of meetings ends with accusations and little else. Stay with us. A night of trick-or-treaters turns into a nightmare for a Woburn woman. Donald Perry thought he was greeting a trick-or-treater when he met a man wearing a mask and was shot in the chest. Perry is undergoing surgery at this hour at Massachusetts General Hospital. Well, there's good news and bad news today with the unemployment statistics for October. The jobless rate in Massachusetts is down 0.3 of a point to 8.9% from 9.2%. That's the good news. The bad news, unemployment is up across the nation. The jobless rate rose 0.1 of a point to 6.8%. Well, the cleanup shifts into high gear following the worst coastal storm to hit the Bay State in more than a decade. Lieutenant Governor Paul Cellucci is touring several coastal Bay State towns today. Towns like Scituate, where the damage to homes and the coastline is extensive. State officials are trying to assess the damage of the storm with federal and state emergency management officials. It may be some time before an actual dollar amount can be figured. Some reports estimate 1,000 Bay State homes were damaged or destroyed by the storm. Some are now beginning to call the Halloween gale. Well, it was a frightening kind of experience.
Halloween horror.
Yeah.
It was in the Herald today. They coined it after I brought that up on Tuesday. I couldn't believe they did that.
Yeah.
I'd like to take the opportunity in a moment to tell you some of the other great forecasts that we'll put out, not only our forecast here, Channel 7, and I'll do that right after the break. I have something to say, so stay with us.
As the rain begins to clear, a lot of people to thank for a lot of hard work through these last few days.
That's right. I have to tell you that while we had forecast the storm accurately for the most part, we couldn't have done it without the help of the National Weather Service this time. They really helped, and particularly one gentleman, Walter Dragg, over there, and he is very much into the weather, just like we are here at Channel 7. he was giving us reports on all the high seas that were out there, some 50, 100, 300 miles off the coastline, well in advance of the storm, and that guidance helped us a lot. So I would like to say that even though we, of course, had it days in advance here at Channel 7, also National Weather Service had, and some other forecasters as well. The problem, of course, many people didn't take it seriously. Some civil defense didn't take it seriously because it didn't have a name, and we have to address that at one point. We had the same problem in '78. You have these strong storms, you don't give them a name, you don't have a hurricane per se, and sometimes they're not taking it seriously. So that was a problem in this storm. Let's go over the current readings. We have brighter news for the weekend now. First of all, right now the temperature is still cool at 51 degrees, relative humidity 93%, the winds north at 16 miles per hour, and we're looking at a barometer which is 30.03. Our barometer today is finally starting to sneak up a little bit, rising. The storm center continues to fill, but as you'll see in a moment, it's still producing some problems across the region, starting out with all the rains we've had in the last 24 hours. Look at the hot spot just to the south of Boston, as much as 5.6 inches of rain at Blue Hill. That's a lot of rain. 4.5 down in Stoughton, 3.9 Hingham, 3.8 inches in Millis, and of course lesser amounts to the north and south of there. But the weekend jet stream is going to say bye-bye to that storm. There it goes, bye-bye. And instead we're going to have a southwest flow of air from the jet, and that's going to bring in clearing from our west and cooler, drier weather later in the weekend.
Still ahead on News 7 in sports.
After you.
Bruins take it on the chin against the Kings. Highlights coming up.
We'll see you in a minute. That's going to do it for this edition of News 7 at noon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lester Strong.
And I'm Edye Tarbox. We'll look for you Monday at noon and join all the rest of the News 7 team tonight at 5:30 and 6. Bye-bye.
We'll see you.